Nowadays, Jrue Holiday is regarded by his fellow NBA stars as the best defender in the league. But beyond his elite defending skills, this 6'4" point guard has proven to be a productive scorer as well, averaging at least 14 points per game in all but 2 of the 15 seasons he's played in the league. However, not too long ago, 16 NBA teams passed on the chance to draft him. So, who were the players that were picked ahead of him, and what have they been up to? From the greatest three-point shooter ever,
the all-time three-point king in the NBA,
to one of the biggest busts in league history and a star player who was convicted of stealing.
They're cheating insurance companies out of millions of dollars by detailing medical procedures that never happened.
Here's what happened to the 16 players drafted before Jrue Holiday. Coming into the NBA, Blake Griffin was described as a freak athlete and a potential top 10 player, but a knee injury in the last game of the Summer League ultimately ruled him out of the 2009-2010 season. Back to full health in the next campaign, Griffin made up for the lost time, averaging 22.5 points, 3.8 assists, and 12.1 rebounds. He won the Rookie of the Year award, and within just 4 years of playing in the league, Griffin would fulfill the prophecy on his scouting report when he finished third in MVP voting. But despite all that talent, he couldn't shake off the injury bug, which would eventually ruin his career. Right now, the power forward is out of the league, and his NBA career looks to be done and over. You'd be forgiven if you don't remember the name, but back in the day, Hashem Thabeet was considered one of the most dominant players in the history of college basketball. Not only that, the Grizzlies selected him as the second overall pick ahead of 2 future MVPs. But it turned out to be the worst decision in franchise history. He barely did anything right in his rookie season, contributing just 3.1 points, 0.2 assists, and 3.8 rebounds per game. And that was pretty much the peak of his NBA career, which lasted for 7 seasons. Nowadays, Thabeet is back in his home country of Tanzania, playing for a team named Pazi. Safe to say, he's one of the biggest busts in NBA history. James Harden was a total baller from day one. As a rookie, he was dropping buckets like it was nothing, almost 10 points per game. And from then on, he has continued to level up, winning the 6th Man of the Year award, 2 scoring titles, an MVP trophy, and a ton of All-NBA and All-Star nods. But despite being one of the greatest players of his generation, Harden is yet to win an NBA championship, and sadly, it doesn't look like he'll win it before he retires. Tyreke Evans announced his arrival into the NBA with a bang, averaging 20.1 points, 5.8 assists, and 5.3 rebounds to win the Rookie of the Year award. But rather than build on that impressive rookie season performance, Evans suffered a devastating decline. As if that wasn't bad enough, he was dismissed from the NBA in May 2019 for violating the league's anti-drug policy. The shooting guard was reinstated in 2022, but it's been radio silent since then. Due to contractual issues, Ricky Rubio's debut for the Minnesota Timberwolves was delayed by a year. But when he eventually arrived in 2011, he showed flashes of his quality. Despite tearing his ACL, Rubio averaged 10.6 points, 8.2 assists, and 4.2 rebounds in his rookie season, and finished second behind Kyrie Irving in the Rookie of the Year voting. After 6 seasons with the Timberwolves, Rubio became a journeyman, bouncing around different teams but always managing to put up solid numbers wherever he landed. After 12 seasons in the NBA, Rubio announced his retirement on the 4th of January 2024. But just 1 month later, he made a U-turn and returned to Spain to play for Barcelona in ACB. Back in 2009, the Timberwolves were convinced they had signed a future star in Johnny Flynn, especially after he posted 13.5 points, 4.4 assists, and 2.4 rebounds in his rookie season. But the reverse was the case. His career took a nosedive after a hip injury in 2010, and he never quite bounced back from it. He's been hopping around different teams and even tried his luck overseas, but he hasn't been able to return to his original form. What else can we say about Steph Curry that hasn't been said already? A 4-time NBA champion, 2-time MVP, 2-time scoring champion, and 1-time NBA Finals MVP, this future Hall of Fame point guard has had a phenomenal NBA career. In his rookie season, he averaged 17.5 points, 5.9 assists, and 4.5 rebounds to rank second in the Rookie of the Season voting. And despite going through an injury spell that threatened to ruin his career, Curry has gone on to become one of the all-time NBA greats. Coming into the 2009 draft, the scouts called Hill a gifted prospect, but all the hype was busted within his first 25 games in the league. During that time, he averaged 4 points, 0.3 assists, and 2.5 rebounds. The Knicks quickly traded him to the Rockets before he bounced around to play for 3 NBA teams between 2015 and 2018. But he never really showed the qualities of an NBA player, and his underwhelming basketball career ultimately came to an end after short stints with the Nevada Desert Dogs and Vancouver Knights in the North American Basketball League. DeMar DeRozan was decent in his rookie season, and since then his stats have been on the rise. So far, DeRozan has averaged at least 15 points per game in every season he's played in the NBA. The only exception was his rookie season, where he averaged 8.6 points, 0.7 assists, and 2.9 rebounds across 77 games. Of course, he's not in the same category as players like Steph Curry and James Harden, but he's in his own right an elite player. Despite not playing a single minute of professional basketball in Europe, Brandon Jennings set the NBA on fire in his rookie season. He became the youngest NBA player to ever score 50-plus points in a single game. More impressively, he started all 82 regular season games and averaged 15.5 points as the Bucks reached the playoffs for the first time in 4 seasons. Jennings would later join the Pistons, where he continued to put up good numbers, but after the 2014-15 season, his performance declined and he became a shell of himself. Between 2016 and 2018, Jennings played for 6 different teams, including the Shanxi Brave Dragons in China, the Wisconsin Herd in the G League, and a short stint with the Bucks. However, he couldn't hold down a spot in any of these teams and would eventually move to the VTB United League, where he played just 10 games for Zenit St. Petersburg. After getting a lifetime opportunity to play in the NBA, Terrence Williams decided he'd rather be a bad boy than a basketball star. He consistently missed team buses, slept through shoot-arounds, and had a nasty habit of arriving late to team meetings. Despite these issues, he'd average 8.4 points, 2.9 assists, and 4.5 rebounds across 78 games in his rookie season. But after several warnings and fines, he was traded to the Houston Rockets in December of 2010. His contract was waived just 2 years later as he plunged into an unstable phase where he played for 13 teams between 2012 and 2015. Fast forward to 2021, Williams was sentenced to 10 years imprisonment for stealing a staggering $5 million from the NBA Players' Health and Welfare Benefit Plan. Gerald Henderson's rookie NBA season was nothing short of a disaster. He finished with the worst record in NBA history, averaging 2.6 points, 0.3 assists, and 1.3 rebounds for the Bobcats in 43 games. However, he turned the corner and put up some impressive numbers over the next 4 seasons, before joining the Portland Trail Blazers. After 1 season with the Blazers, Henderson joined the 76ers, where he played just 1 season before his contract was waived. Subsequently, Henderson underwent a series of surgeries before retiring from the NBA in 2019. Tyler Hansbrough came into the 2009 NBA draft as one of the greatest players in college basketball history. He was listed on the All-ACC team and the first-team All-American in each of the 4 seasons he played in college. To top that off, he won the ACC Tournament MVP in 2008 and the NCAA title in 2009. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to have the same success in the NBA. In his rookie season, he averaged 8.5 points, 1 assist, and 4.8 rebounds per game, and missed 29 games due to a series of injuries. 4 years later, he would join the Raptors as an unrestricted free agent. From there, he had a short stint in the D-League before moving to the Chinese Basketball Association, playing for teams like Guangzhou Long Lions, Zhejiang Golden Bulls, and Sichuan Blue Whales. In 2021, he retired from basketball, bringing an end to his uneventful and uninspiring NBA career. From the start, Earl Clark looked like a misfit in the NBA. In his rookie season, he averaged a mere 2.7 points, 0.4 assists, and 1.2 rebounds per game. He'd go on to play for 6 different teams across 8 seasons in the league. Unfortunately, consistency eluded him everywhere he went. He eventually quit the league in 2015. Nowadays, Clark plays for a team in the Puerto Rican League. Austin Day's NBA career is quite interesting. He's one of the 9 players in this draft class to have won an NBA championship, but other than that, his career has been an absolute bust. He posted a mere 5.1 points, 0.5 assists, and 2.5 rebounds per game in his rookie season. And despite spending 9 seasons in the NBA, he failed to make a significant impact. After retiring from the NBA in 2015, Day attempted to revive his career overseas, but ultimately found little success. After 2 disappointing seasons with the Bulls where he averaged 3.5 points and committed more fouls per game than assists, James Johnson moved to the Raptors, where his numbers experienced a significant jump. But his performances were never consistent enough to earn him a permanent home. So far, Johnson has featured for 10 different NBA teams across the 15 seasons he's been in the league. This season, he's playing for the Indiana Pacers and averaging a mediocre 1 point, 1 assist, and 0.7 rebounds. Based on how his career has turned out, it's pretty obvious that in a redraft situation, Jrue Holiday would have been selected long before the 17th pick. But how early do you think he'd have been picked?